You wake up, you pour your coffee, and you look around your house. Maybe the kids are older now and need you less. Maybe you've finally settled into a predictable rhythm at work. You survived the exhausting, non-stop chaos of your 20s and 30s. You should be thrilled, right? Why do I feel so empty? But instead, there's this quiet, nagging feeling in the pit of your stomach. A feeling that something is just off. You look in the mirror and you don't quite recognize the fiercely ambitious, constantly overwhelmed person you used to be. You're standing in the middle of your life asking, is this it? What now? If you are feeling this way, I promise you, you are not alone. And you are not broken. There is a deeply profound reason this is happening, and today, we are going to talk about exactly how to navigate it. If that sounds exactly like what you're going through, I need you to take a deep breath. You are not having a midlife crisis. You are having a midlife transition, and it is completely, biologically, and psychologically normal. Psychologists call this an identity reassessment. Think about it. For the last 20+ years, your entire identity has been wrapped up in being a doer, the caretaker, the problem solver, the mother, the wife, the employee who kept all the plates spinning. You were so busy surviving and providing. That overwhelm literally became your personality. But what happens when the plates stop spinning? When the house gets quiet, the silence can feel deafening. Without the chaos, you feel untethered. You might even feel guilty that you aren't devastated your kids are out of the house, and you actually just want an afternoon entirely to yourself. Let's talk about what's actually happening in your body and your life right now, because understanding this makes everything so much less scary. If you're between 40 and 55, your hormones are shifting. Estrogen and progesterone levels are fluctuating. This isn't just about hot flashes. These hormonal changes affect your sleep, your mood, your energy levels, and yes, your sense of identity. You might be experiencing brain fog that makes you question your competence at work. You might find yourself crying at a commercial one moment and furious the next. Add to this the reality of the sandwich generation. Many of you are still parenting adult children who need emotional or financial help, while simultaneously caring for aging parents who need doctor appointments managed and medications tracked. You're carrying the emotional weight of 3 generations while your own body is changing beneath you. No wonder you feel off. Stoic shift. 1. The dichotomy of control. This is where we can borrow a brilliant, calming concept from ancient Stoic philosophy, the dichotomy of control. Epictetus taught that peace comes from radically accepting what we can no longer control. You cannot control the fact that time has passed. You cannot control the hormonal shifts in your body, or that your children are becoming independent adults. But you can control how you view this new empty space. Right now, you are mourning a past version of yourself, and that is causing the friction. The first step to fixing this off feeling is giving yourself permission to let the old you retire. You completed that mission beautifully. You kept everyone alive. You built the foundation. Now it's time for a new mission. The myth of the invisible woman. Society loves to push this narrative of the invisible woman. The cultural pressure that says as women age, as our primary caregiving roles shift, our value diminishes. We are conditioned to believe our worth is tied directly to how useful we are to other people. I need you to hear me clearly. That is a lie. You do not need to be actively exhausted to be worthy of taking up space. You don't need to be needed to be valuable. Your 40s and 50s are not the closing chapters of your life. They are the midlife quest for your actual self-realization. You are not becoming invisible. You are finally becoming unbothered. There is a massive difference. Stoic shift 2, a more FATI, embracing the quiet. This brings us to the second phase of your reinvention, embracing the quiet. There is a Stoic practice called amor fati, which translates to a love of one's fate. It doesn't just mean putting up with where you are. It means actively embracing the season of life you are currently in. 10 years ago, a silent morning meant the calm before a storm. It meant you had exactly 10 minutes to drink cold coffee before someone needed something from you. Today, silence is just silence. Stop trying to fill it with busy work just to feel valuable. Stop volunteering for projects at work just because you're used to carrying the heavy load. Amor fati means looking at this quiet, unburdened chapter of your life and saying, I earned this. I am going to enjoy it. Workplace. burnout, and the caregiver. Let's talk about how this shows up in your career. Many women in their 40s and 50s experience what I call a caregiver hangover at work. Because you spent decades managing a household, you naturally translated that mom energy into the workplace. You became the person who fixes everyone's mistakes, remembers the birthdays, and stays late to ensure the project doesn't fail. But right now, your soul is tired. The ambition that used to drive you might feel completely gone, replaced by a desire to just do your job and go home. That isn't laziness. That is your mind telling you that your priorities have finally shifted inward. You are allowed to step back and let other people drop the ball. Stoic Shift 3, Premeditatio Malorum. Anticipating pushback. As you start to step into this new, calmer version of yourself, be prepared. Your relationships will shift. The Stoics used a tool called Premeditatio Malorum, anticipating challenges before they happen so you aren't blindsided. Anticipate that some people in your life will not like this new you. Adult children might push back when you say no to dropping everything to help them. Aging parents might demand more energy than you have to give. Old friends who bonded with you over mutual stress and complaining might fade away. When you decide you prioritize peace over drama, boundaries without guilt, let them fade. Setting boundaries in your 40s and 50s shouldn't come with the crippling guilt it did in your 30s. If a family member expects you to be the exact same person you were a decade ago, you can gently but firmly decline that invitation. You don't need to explain yourself. No is a complete sentence. This is the quiet power of not caring anymore. It's not about being cold or unloving. It's about having a heart that is so full of self-respect that you no longer need external validation to feel okay. You are allowed to be selfish now. In fact, it is required for your well-being. The physical shift, stop fighting time. Let's also address the mirror. As your body changes, society tells you to fight it tooth and nail. Buy the creams, do the intense workouts, hide the gray hairs, pretend you are still 35. The Stoic philosopher Seneca warned us that trying to fight nature is the ultimate source of human misery. Your body has carried you through decades of stress, childbirth, heartbreaks, career milestones, and sleepless nights. It is changing because it is supposed to change. When you stop fighting your age and start working with your body, nourishing it, resting it, moving it gently, the anxiety begins to melt away. Stoic Shift 4, Memento Mori, the urgency of now. Finally, I want to talk about time. The Stoics carried a daily reminder of their mortality, a practice called Memento Mori. Now, that sounds morbid, but for a woman in midlife, it is the most liberating concept in the world. You have spent 2, maybe 3 decades living for other people, modifying your dreams, adjusting your schedule, shrinking your needs so that everyone around you could thrive. You did a great job, but statistically, you are at the halfway point. The time for living exclusively for others is over. The time for waiting for the perfect moment to take that trip, start that hobby, or demand that respect is gone. The moment is right now. The reason life feels off right now is because your mind knows it's time to live for you, but your daily habits haven't caught up yet. So tomorrow morning, when you wake up to that quiet house, don't look for a problem to solve. Look at it as a blank canvas. Reclaim your identity. Realign with what actually matters to you. Stop apologizing for changing. If this resonated with you today, and you are ready to master your mindset and protect your peace in this beautiful second half of life, make sure you hit the subscribe button. We are building a community of strong, peaceful, unapologetic individuals here, and I want you to be a part of it. Until next time, take a deep breath, drop the guilt, and enjoy the quiet.